Hello and welcome back. Today, we're unpacking the latest financial results from Coforge Limited for the fourth quarter and the full fiscal year 2025. Coforge is a major player in the global digital services and solutions space, leveraging tech like AI, cloud, and data, especially strong in sectors like banking and financial services, insurance, and travel.
That's right. They operate globally with numerous delivery centers and subsidiaries across the world, including recent additions like Signity Technologies. It's been a busy year for them on the acquisition front as well.
Absolutely. So, the documents we're looking at today are the audited standalone and consolidated financial results for the quarter and year ended March 31st, 2025. These were approved by their board on May 5th, 2025. We also have their press release and investor presentation from the same date, which gives some extra context.
And an important note up front, Coforge divested its AdvantageGo business in April 2025. So when we discuss the main financial highlights, particularly the continuing operations, those figures exclude the AdvantageGo business unless we specify otherwise. This gives us a clearer picture of their ongoing core performance.
Got it. Let's start with the consolidated results for the continuing operations. How did they fare in terms of revenue for Q4 and the full year?
Okay, looking at the consolidated continuing operations for Q4 FY25, revenue from operations came in at 34,099 million rupees or about $403.5 million. Year over year, that's a very strong jump of 47.1% in rupee terms and 43.6% in US dollar terms compared to Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, they saw growth too, up 4.7% in rupees and 3.3% in US dollars from Q3 FY25.
Wow, nearly 50% year-over-year growth in Q4 is quite something. How does that translate to the full fiscal year 2025?
For the full year FY25, consolidated continuing revenue was 120,507 million rupees, or roughly $1.45 billion. That represents a year-over-year growth of 33.8% in rupee terms and 31.5% in US dollar terms. The press release also highlights a constant currency growth of 32.0% for the year, which is impressive.
Very strong top-line growth indeed. Now let's move down to profitability. How did EBITDA look for the consolidated continuing operations?
Alright, for Q4 FY25, the adjusted EBITDA for continuing operations stood at 6,364 million rupees or $75.3 million. Year over year, that's up a solid 42.9% in rupees and 39.5% in US dollars. Sequentially, quarter over quarter, adjusted EBITDA grew 10.6% in rupees and 9.2% in US dollars from Q3. The adjusted EBITDA margin for Q4 improved to 18.7%, up 101 basis points quarter over quarter.
And for the full year FY25 on EBITDA?
For the full fiscal year 25, consolidated adjusted EBITDA from continuing operations was 21,713 million rupees, or $260.4 million. That's a year-over-year increase of 33.9% in rupees and 31.6% in US dollars. The adjusted EBITDA margin for the full year came in at 18.0%, which is slightly up by 2 basis points year over year.
Consistent growth on both revenue and EBITDA. What about profit before tax, or PBT, on the consolidated continuing side?
Consolidated PBT for continuing operations in Q4 FY25 was 3,933 million rupees. That's up 36.0% year over year from 2,892 million rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, PBT increased 15.6% from 3,402 million rupees in Q3 FY25. For the full year FY25, PBT stood at 12,961 million rupees, a year-over-year increase of 21.1% from 10,696 million rupees in FY24.
Okay, and the bottom line, profit after tax or PAT, excluding minority interest?
For the consolidated continuing PAT, excluding minority interest in Q4 FY25, it was 3,059 million rupees or $36.2 million. This represents a strong year-over-year growth of 32.8% in rupees and 29.7% in US dollars. Quarter over quarter, it surged 20.8% in rupees and 19.3% in US dollars. Looking at the full year FY25, the PAT was 9,635 million rupees or $115.5 million US dollars, up 13.5% year over year in rupees and 11.5% year over year in US dollars.
And how does that translate into earnings per share, the basic EPS?
The basic EPS for consolidated continuing operations for Q4 FY25 was 38.8 rupees. That's up 6.6% year over year from 36.4 rupees in Q4 FY24. Sequentially, it grew 21.9% from 31.8 rupees in Q3 FY25. For the full year FY25, basic EPS was 127.2 rupees, which is actually down 4.9% compared to 133.7 rupees in FY24, likely influenced by share-based changes or other factors over the year, despite the profit growth.
Interesting dip in the annual EPS despite PAT growth. Did other income play a significant role here?
Yes, other income net was negative for both the quarter and the year on the consolidated continuing side. In Q4 FY25, it was negative 300 million rupees compared to negative 453 million rupees in Q4 FY24 and negative 329 million rupees in Q3 FY25. For the full year FY25, net other income was negative 1,080 million rupees compared to negative 1,153 million rupees in FY24. So it's less of a drag compared to last year, but still negative.
Now let's switch gears slightly and look at the standalone results. How do they compare for Q4 and the full year? Let's start with standalone revenue.
Okay, on a standalone basis for Q4 FY25, revenue from operations was 15,890 million rupees. That's a significant 29.7% increase year over year from 12,248 million rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it grew 10.9% from 14,327 million rupees in Q3 FY25. For the full year FY25, standalone revenue reached 55,570 million rupees, up 14.6% year over year from 48,489 million rupees in FY24.
And the standalone profit before tax PBT?
Standalone PBT for Q4 FY25 came in at 1,413 million rupees. This was down quite a bit, 56% year over year from 3,211 million rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it was almost flat, down just 1.1% from 1,429 million rupees in Q3 FY25. For the full year FY25, standalone PBT was 6,620 million rupees, a decrease of 38.1% year over year from 10,688 million rupees in FY24.
A noticeable decline in standalone PBT, especially year over year. What about standalone profit after tax PAT?
Standalone PAT for Q4 FY25 was 1,109 million rupees. This followed the PBT trend, down 62.3% year over year from 2,941 million rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it was up 4.7% from 1,059 million rupees in Q3 FY25. For the full year FY25, standalone PAT stood at 5,275 million rupees, down 46.8% year over year from 9,918 million rupees in FY24.
And the standalone basic EPS?
Standalone basic EPS for Q4 FY25 was 16.57 rupees, down 65.2% year over year from 47.60 rupees. Quarter over quarter, it was up 4.5% from 15.85 rupees. For the full year FY25, standalone basic EPS was 79.90 rupees, down 50.5% year over year from 161.49 rupees.
So quite a divergence there. Consolidated results showing strong growth while standalone results, particularly profits, are showing significant year-over-year declines.
Exactly. This highlights the impact of the subsidiaries and potentially the recent acquisitions like Cigniti boosting the consolidated picture significantly, while the standalone entity might be facing different pressures or perhaps bearing more costs related to growth and integration.
Let's talk about profitability margins again, focusing on the consolidated view. You mentioned an 18.7% adjusted EBITDA margin in Q4. How does that fit into the overall picture?
That 18.7% adjusted EBITDA margin in Q4 FY25 is a good sequential improvement from 17.7% in Q3. For the full year, the 18.0% margin is stable compared to the previous year's 18.0%, just a 2 basis point difference. This suggests they're maintaining operational efficiency at the consolidated level despite rapid growth and integration activities.
Were there any significant one-off or exceptional items impacting the results this time, either consolidated or standalone?
The results don't list any exceptional items for FY25. However, the consolidated P&L does show specific line items below EBITDA, like integration and merger express. Cigniti, 148 million rupees in Q4, 1,553 million for the year. Exceltrate Rhythmos acquisition expenses, 70 million rupees in Q4 and for the year. And Adgo sale expenses, 43 million rupees in Q4 and for the year. These definitely impact the profit before tax figure. Last year, FY24, there was an exceptional item of 116 million rupees related to a reassessment of provisions. So while not labeled exceptional this year, these integration and transaction costs are certainly notable.
Okay, that's helpful context. Can we glean any insights from the balance sheet at the consolidated level as of March 31, 2025?
Yes, the consolidated balance sheet shows some significant movements likely reflecting the acquisitions. Total equity stands at 83,290 million rupees, up substantially from 37,269 million rupees last year, driven partly by the increase in non-controlling interests from 1,003 million to 19,498 million rupees due to Cigniti. Net worth attributable to owners is around 63,792 million rupees. Intangible assets including goodwill have increased significantly, now totaling over 49,700 million rupees compared to about 16,000 million last year. Cash and cash equivalents are strong at 7,956 million rupees. Total liabilities stand at 41,192 million rupees.
What about cash flows for the full year FY 2025 based on the consolidated statement?
The consolidated cash flow statement for FY25 shows net cash inflow from operating activities at 12,371 million rupees, which is up nicely from 9,034 million rupees in FY24. Investing activities saw a major outflow of 24,483 million rupees, primarily due to the acquisition of subsidiaries, 20,810 million rupees, and purchase of property, plant and equipment, 6,144 million rupees. Financing activities generated a net inflow of 16,753 million rupees, largely driven by proceeds from the issue of shares, 22,015 million rupees, likely the QIP, and borrowings offset by dividend payments, nearly 5 billion rupees, and repayment of borrowings leases. They also declared a fourth interim dividend of 19 rupees per share for FY25.
That QIP certainly helped the cash position. Now the investor presentation breaks down revenue by verticals, services and geography instead of traditional segments. What does that tell us about performance drivers for FY25?
Right. So if you look at where the money came from in FY25 for their main ongoing business. By industry, banking and financial services was the biggest chunk at about 29.6%. Insurance was next at 19.2%, then travel, transportation and hospitality at 18.3%. Government work overseas brought in 7.4%, and the rest others was 25.6%. They said growth was pretty spread out across all these areas. Looking at what they actually do, engineering was the biggest piece at 41.3%, probably got a big boost from Cigniti joining. Data and integration was 23.5%. Cloud and infra management was 17.9%. Intelligent automation was 9.2%, and business process management was 8.1%. Geographically, the Americas are still their main market, making up 53.9% of revenue. Europe, the Middle East, and Africa (EMEA) brought in 34.7%, and the rest of the world was 11.3%. It looks like those big deal wins they mentioned, 14 large ones in FY25, adding up to $3.5 billion in orders, really helped drive growth everywhere. Q4 alone had a huge $2.1 billion in orders booked, including 5 large deals.
That order book sounds very promising. So summarizing the performance and context for FY 2025?
It was clearly a year of very strong growth for Coforge on a consolidated basis, over 30% growth in revenue and adjusted EBITDA. This was driven by significant deal momentum, reflected in the record order intake, and a 47.7% year-over-year increase in the executable order book for the next 12 months, which stands at $1.5 billion. Headcount also grew substantially by over 35% year-over-year to 33,497, while maintaining a low LTM attrition rate of 10.9%. The CEO Sudhir Singh called FY25 an exceptional year in the press release and noted the strong order book positions them well for growth in FY26. The standalone performance decline, however, suggests costs or investments might be concentrated there, or perhaps intercompany dynamics are at play.
Besides the financials, were there other significant events or notes mentioned in the reports?
Yeah, there were several other things worth mentioning. First off, they signed the deal to sell off their AdvantageGo business right after the financial year ended in April 25. So we'll see the full effect of that later. But the numbers we just discussed already take it out. Also, they finished buying a majority stake, 54% in Cigniti during the year, and have started the process to merge Cigniti completely into Coforge. But that still needs the official okay. They also mentioned some costs in Q4 related to buying Acceltrate/Rhythmos. Oh, and the board approved a stock split, basically turning every one share into two by changing the face value from 10 rupees to 5 rupees. That's set to happen based on who holds shares on June 4, 25. They also announced another dividend 19 rupees per share for people holding shares on May 12, 25. They talked about how they use the money raised from that big share sale to institutions. The QIP. They hired a new company, Parikh & Associates, to be their secretarial auditors for the next 5 years, starting from FY26. And lastly, there's a note about a complaint against them and one of their subsidiaries. It's about a security issue at a customer's place involving some help desk staff they'd outsourced. Coforge says they weren't handling the main cybersecurity stuff and are checking if insurance covers it. They also said the customer relationship is still fine and it hasn't really hurt revenue, but they don't know yet what the potential cost might be.
That complaint is definitely something to watch. Now, a crucial part, the auditor's report. What did SR Batliboi and Associates have to say about both the standalone and consolidated results for the quarter and year ended March 31, 2025?
This is a positive point. The auditors SR Batliboi and Associates LLP have issued unmodified opinions on both the consolidated and standalone financial results for the quarter and year ended March 31, 2025. This means that in their view, the financial statements give a true and fair view in accordance with the accounting standards and comply with the SEBI listing regulations.
So no qualifications or adverse opinions?
Correct. No qualifications, no adverse opinions, no disclaimers of opinion mentioned in the reports provided for Coforge for this period. They do include an other matter paragraph, which is standard practice, explaining that the consolidated results include figures for subsidiaries audited by other auditors and some unaudited results, but state their opinion isn't modified in respect of these matters. They also clarify that the Q4 figures are balancing figures between the audited full-year results and the reviewed 9-month results. But the key takeaway is the clean, unmodified opinion on both sets of accounts.
That's reassuring after discussing the security complaint note. So considering the strong growth, deal wins, acquisitions, and the clean audit report, what's the outlook for Coforge?
The outlook appears quite positive, fundamentally. The massive order intake in Q4, $2.1 billion, and the strong executable order book, $1.5 billion, provide significant revenue visibility for FY26. Management commentary is bullish. The Cigniti integration seems to be boosting engineering services revenue significantly. Key drivers will be continued large deal wins, successful integration of Cigniti, and capitalizing on demand in their focus verticals and technologies.
And the potential risks?
Risks include the uncertain global macro environment impacting client spending, successful integration of Cigniti and realizing synergies, managing the significant headcount growth effectively, and any potential fallout or liability from the security incident mentioned in the notes. Client concentration, while declining according to the presentation, is always a factor. And of course, the standard disclaimer applies. We advise investors to consult certified financial experts before making any investment decisions based on this discussion.
Excellent. So to wrap up our analysis of Coforge's Q4 and FY 2025 results,
Coforge delivered a very strong performance in FY25, marked by impressive growth exceeding 30% in both revenue and adjusted EBITDA on a consolidated basis for continuing operations. Q4 capped off the year strongly with record order intake. The growth seems broad-based, significantly boosted by acquisitions like Cigniti. The executable order book is robust, supporting a positive outlook for FY26. The standalone performance showed a decline in profitability year over year, highlighting the importance of subsidiary contributions. Importantly, the auditors issued clean, unmodified opinions on both consolidated and standalone results. Key things to watch are the Cigniti integration progress, continued deal momentum, and any developments related to the customer security incident complaint.
A very comprehensive look. Thank you. It seems Coforge is navigating the current environment well and positioning itself strongly for the future, despite some integration complexities and external risks. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, everyone.